You mentioned a few weeks ago, we argued a few weeks ago about the housing prices. We now have housing prices coming out this morning again, as they did last week, and the housing prices seem to be settling in at about a 2% year over year, which would be great for the CPI and PPI, or CPI and PCE. Tom Lee says that the spread between treasuries and mortgages is about 100 basis points higher than it usually is. So there's an opportunity for mortgages to drop even without the 10-year going down. Do you anticipate a turnaround for housing in the third or fourth quarter? We had the surprise winter sales a couple of years ago. Do you think we see another surprise winter this year?
I don't know. I mean, again, I'm in the Southeast, so I think a lot of this can be pretty regional.
Yep.
Like, I think if you took out the Northeast, you would see that housing's down across the board, but the Northeast is what's keeping things up.
You'll be right.
So I might be biased, but I think we're getting to a stable spot on housing. And I think that by spring, summer of next year, I think we'll be past the worst of this. I think we're starting to trough out on the, what I've been saying for 6-8 months, maybe a little longer, that housing's been coming down. I think we're starting to trough on that. Now, that's not to say that you don't have lag effects.
Sure.
The Northeast tends to lag what the Southeast is, and the Southeast tends to be a precursor for the rest of the country. But I think we're starting to kind of see an inflection on that. But I don't know. It's probably too. I don't even know what I'm saying. It's too early for me to have real confidence on it. But I actually heard the stupidest thing the other day, Randy, and I would love to share it with you. There's this guy. He's got a pretty big YouTube channel. I would call him out on it if I could remember his name. But he was saying that despite the fact that housing has come down so much, and his whole dialogue was about how prices have come down, how certain markets are just getting crushed, all that. He does not think that will have as big enough of an impact on inflation, and that once they cut rates, it's going to spark inflation again. If that's your line of thinking, let me just let you know right now, you don't understand how the market works. CPI is dominated 60, 65, 70% by housing.
No.
Housing.
Sorry, I'm going to correct you there. It's around 30 to 35%. So yeah, about 30% is actual housing, and then another 10% is housing. What do you want to call it? Down the flow from housing, like buying stuff when you buy the new house, that kind of.
Okay. Yeah. So call it 35, 40.
But it's
whatever.
Huge.
Big number.
Yeah, right.
You're right. Big number. If housing comes down, it has a huge impact.
Right.
And housing has huge lags when it comes to CPI because of how they do it.
Right.
It's weird how they do it. They do 1 month, and then 6 months later they take that month and they average together, and that's the number they use for CPI. It's ridiculous. So that's one thing. Like, obviously, housing coming down would have a big impact. It's an overweighted part of the CPI.
Right.
But then also to insinuate that lowering rates will create inflation. This is such a gap in knowledge for some reason. Is it true that we raise interest rates to help deal with inflation? Yes. But that doesn't mean that when we lower rates, inflation comes back. The whole point of raising rates is to slow the economy down. And in slowing the economy down, you slow down the turnover of money. And so people can't spend as much because things are more expensive. And that essentially puts a brake on everything. When you bring rates down, you're not necessarily injecting money back in. You might make it easier to lend and to borrow, but it takes time for that money to get around. I think a big thing people don't talk about enough is that the reason we had inflation was because we gave dollars straight to individuals, and those individuals went on Amazon.com and spent every last cent.
And we
And
printed the money to do that.
And we printed at the same time, and we kept printing despite we had a 7%. It was not crazy. 7%, 8% inflation. We were still printing.
Yeah.
It was wild. Anyways, I saw that and just want to give my point of view on that. Maybe he's right and I'm wrong, but
no.
that's my point of view.
It drives me nuts almost every single day. I see people that continue. They've heard it from Powell now. They've heard it from multiple members of the cabinet. They've heard it from major people like yeah, of course, but Tom Lee and others. These people that are, I would consider the cream of the crop in terms of understanding this stuff, that the tariffs will not create inflation, that they are a price, they're not inflationary, and that, yes, it's possible that if after you do tariffs and tariffs and tariffs, at some point, if the wage expectations go up because of prices going up, you could see a beginning of some kind of a inflationary trend. But it doesn't cause inflation. It is a price. And like your point, the same thing is true. People having this idea that there's any other way to actually get inflation other than printing money or increasing or decreasing productivity. There are no other ways to actually get long-term inflation.